Aloha and welcome. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of Roses. Duelists of Roses. I've been saying that wrong for a while now. That is on me. Don't care about that. VSync, please. Just have that shit on. Alright. Yeah, you could trade between memory cards. I don't know if there's cheats for this game. I don't care. The British Empire and the 1480s. The War of Roses, a power struggle between the House of Lannister, Red Rose, and York, the White Rose. To decide the royal successor was nearing an end. When Yorkshire was in the lead, the reign of Richard III was but a step away. And in France, Yugioh, Harry Tudor, the last Lannister heir, was being forced to live a life of exile. The Lannister forces were rendered powerless by ancient cards of sorcery wielded by Seto and his 7 followers, who were known as the Rose Crusaders, served under the flag of Lord Clawthorne, a powerful Yorkshire noble. Lacking a duelist to champion their cause, defeat was imminent for the Lannisters. In England, the dual card games were still in a fledgling state. Thus, the Lannisters had to look elsewhere for a duel master capable of facing Robespierre in battle. With this in mind, manager Mai Benford of Lannister secretly requested a High Druid to summon a duelist from another age. You think the Yu-Gi-Oh! Animes have a weird storyline? Here you go! Simon McCone. Oh! Summoned from the magic circles of red and white roses, one capable of harnessing pure power. There was truth to the legend of the Rose Duelist. Lady Margaret, I did it! Now we have the means to defeat the evil forces of the Runeskirt. Oh, my apologies. In my excitement, I had forgotten I was in the presence of the Rose Duelist. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Simon McCoy, High Druid and servant of the Lannisters. May I be so bold as to ask the name of which the Rose Duelist would like to be known. Ta-da! Like, they could have just made a kind of in-world thing where they get thrown into the game and stuff like that. Like, that was a thing in the I know those sound effects. Holy shit. But they made an entirely different storyline based off of a historical event. Wait, Panther, what a fine name indeed. Now, there's the situation. The year is 1485, and you are currently in Stonehenge near Salisbury, England. The British Empire is in turmoil with the House of Lannister's rightful claim to the throne being challenged by Yorkshire's usurpers. Power struggle is referred to as the War of Roses, a name based on the badges used by both sides. A red rose for the Lannisters and a white rose for the Yorkshires. Right now, our kingdom is threatened by the Yorkshires and their wrongful claim to the throne. All because the Yorkshires enjoy the support of the Rose Crusaders and their sorcerous white rose cards. Using our red rose cards, we summoned you, Fade Panther, to this day and age. We hoped that your dueling experience would defeat the Rose Crusaders and lead us to victory. Will you help us? Of course you will! Foolish of me to even doubt where your loyalties lie. It's not like I can't ever send you back to the time frame and life you once did if you fail. Rumor has it that only the legendary Rose Duelist stands a chance against the power of the Rosian spirit. I am going to mispronounce that thing. To high heaven. We appreciate any help you could provide against them. Before I forget, I should warn you that the rules of dueling differ from those of your age. In England, dueling is governed by what is known as the perfect rule. In addition to several minor distinctions, there are two major differences. One is the existence of movement or positioning. The other is the deck leader concept. The deck leader concept, by the way, such an awesome fucking thing. These are two aspects of dueling that were lost in the process when the ancient sport of duel monsters was adapted to card play. The perfect rule represents these lost rules that were miraculously revived here in England somehow. Perhaps a practice duel will better serve as an explanation, shall we? Yes, I have to show you guys this absolutely crazy fucking game. Let's start with the basics of dueling. First, let me show you how to summon a monster. To bring a monster into play, you must summon it from your hand to the field. Now, let's draw a card from your deck. Dark Magician is my lead. Currently, the cards you are indicating your deck leader, the Dark Magician. Let's order your Dark Magician to operate your hand. You can do this by selecting your deck leader and pressing square. See the blue square? That's the area where you can place your summoned monsters. Let's place the summoned monsters in a position directly in front of your card leader. Line up the cursor and press the up directional button. Then press down. I'm not doing this, by the way. It is literally just hand-holding me. This is your current hand. Apparently, there's only one monster in your hand that can be summoned onto the field. This is because summoning monsters require a certain amount of power. This is another thing that is very different from the card game. They don't sacrifice monsters unless it's a ritual card. They use those blips and power. See, I have 4, which means I can only summon something that is full. The spot currently indicated where current available summoning power is displayed. At the start of a duel, you have 4 summoning power points. This amount will increase by 3 every turn. You can accumulate up to a maximum of 12 points. When a monster is placed on the field, the summoning point, they're expended. Basically, you pay the cost. Your current summoning power is 4. Hence, the only monster in your hand that you could play is the Celtic Guardian. The dark cards are the monsters on your in your hand that are unable to be played this turn. Now, let's summon the Celtic Guardian. First, move the cursor over to the Celtic Guardian, like so. Press the X button, like so. At this point, if you wish to cancel, you can press the circle button. To enter your selection, press X again. Now the Celtic Guardian is on the field, ready to battle. Now let's attack your opponent with the Celtic Guardian. To control a monster on the field, you must first activate the card you wish to move by pressing X. Oh, right, because I just summoned it, I can't move it. This blue eyes white dragon is your opponent's leader. Let's try to attack him. Oh, okay, yeah. First, let's activate your monster by lighting up the cursor and then pressing X. See the yellow squares? That indicates where your monster can be moved this turn. Your opponent's card leader is directly ahead, so let's move it straight ahead. To move your monster, you must select your destination and press X. They really wanted to make sure every little aspect was dictated to you. Not a good way to do a tutorial, but I'm so hyped for this game, I don't care. The Celtic Guardian advances 1 space and completing its move for this turn. Monsters can move only once per turn. However, a deck leader's summoning does not count as a move. Hence, the monster can move immediately after being summoned to the field. Since there is nothing else left to do, let's end your turn. Press start. Bink. From this point, it's your opponent's turn. Your opponent is summoning a monster. You have to prepare to attack. Moves forward, summons. I won't be able to see what they're summoning, by the way, when the real game happens. Now it's your turn. There's an enemy monster heading your way. Let's use the Celtic Guardian to eliminate the threat. To attack your opponent's monster, all you have to do is move the monster onto the space with the other monster. A monster attacking another monster is referred to as a battle. The outcome of the battle is decided by attack and defense factors on the represented monster. Putting the outcome aside, let's attack. Remember how to move your monster? Yep. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Oh. You eliminated your opponent's monster and moved 1 step closer to your leader, or to their leader. However, your opponent is now aware of your monster's strength and will probably bring a more powerful monster into play to retaliate. Let's take a look at the factors that govern the outcome of the battle. Here's how your attack played out. Your Celtic Guardian was in the attack position. Your monster automatically assumes the attack position whenever it is moved. The attack position indicates that your monster has either moved or attacked. A monster that doesn't move and holds its position is said to be in defense position. Currently, your Celtic Guardian is attacking the opposing baby dragon, are both in attack position because it moved. The outcome of the battle is decided by comparing the strengths of each monster. In this case, both monsters are in attack position, hence the attack factors on the both monsters are compared. The attack of the Celtic Guardian is 1400, and the baby dragon is 1200. That thing that's happening in the back isn't supposed to happen. As a result, the baby dragon was eliminated, and the attack difference of 200 is applied against your opponent's life points. Yep, just like in the normal game. Now, let's take a look at what might happen if the opposing monster was stronger. Your opponent has a Komori dragon in play, the attack of 1500, which is much more powerful than the... I mean, it's more powerful, it's not much more powerful. When you attack this creature... it is eliminated and you suffer 100 points of damage to your LP. Yeah, that's kind of what I expect. Now, when they're equal, let's take the Winged Dragon Guardian of the Fortress number 1 with an attack of 1400 into play. What happens? They both die. Both monsters are eliminated, and neither player suffers any damage to their LP. Now, let's take a look at defense position. Yeah, they go through all of it. But there's probably some things that you've been noticing if you've been paying attention. Like, the elemental properties make a difference. Hard Armor is a monster with high defense factor. This card is currently in defense position. Monster set in defense position cannot move or attack. In battle, defense of a monster in defense position is used to decide the outcome. Although defense is fairly high, it's nothing compared to the Celtic Guardian. Let's attack. Hard Armor was eliminated. Note that the eliminated monster in defense position will not inflict any damage to the player controlling the eliminated monster. Now let's see what happens if Aqua Maroon, which has 2000. What happens when you attack? You take 600 damage. But the monster is not killed. Your attack is countered, and 600 life points difference between the attack is taken out of your hit points, or life points. Since your attack failed, your attacking monster is driven back to its original position. If you attacked a rock which is equal, nothing. You literally have to beat it. There's no damage, and the monster is forced back to its original position. Concludes our mission. Let's continue with the duel. As you recall, the Celtic Guardian was successfully moved in position to attack the leader. The leader is unsupported and defenseless, leaving it wide open for direct attack. A direct attack is an ideal opportunity to inflict major damage to your opponent's LP. Attacking a leader will result in inflicting LP equivalency of the attack factor onto the opponent. Let's try a direct attack. Produce the same setting, blah blah blah. Now that you've inflicted 1400, you are on your way to victory. As you can see, it's important to avoid direct attacks as much as possible. You should act immediately whenever any monster is approaching your leader. You're currently winning. However, your opponent may retaliate. With this in mind, summon a monster with high defense. You use this monster to protect the front of your leader, since it has high defense. Put it in defense position. To set it in that position, select it, and then L1 or R1 to change between defense and... Yep. Careful that you don't move the creature to a designated space. It will automatically set it to an attack position. Note that a monster card summoned on the field is initially face down and hidden from your opponent's view. This card will be flipped face up whenever it attacks or is attacked by an enemy. It may also be manually flipped face up. To do so, you use the L2, R2. Once you have the card in the desired position, press X to enter the selection. However, you should note that a face-up card cannot be returned to a face-down position. This is why you should be very careful about manually turning a card face-up. Your opponent has summoned a powerful Kaiser Dragon. You don't have a monster strong enough to withstand an attack from this creature. Fortunately, you have a magic card on the field capable of stopping the dragon-type monsters. Dragon Capture Jar. Permanently spellbinds all dragon monsters. In fact, this magic card is capable of preventing movement from all dragon-type monsters on the field. Use this magic to stop the opposition and focus on continuing to attack its leader. You can trigger it by flipping it face up and completing its move. Flip the card face up in the manner described earlier. Control its inputs are the same as those of a monster. Let's try. Opposing monster has been neutralized with a magic card. Now let's go after the leader. A duel can go either way. At times, you may find yourself cornered by a cunning opponent. There will be occasions where there's nothing you can do but accept defeat and go for a rematch. You may select surrender by pressing the select button. But don't give up too quickly. A well-placed card could easily turn the tide of battle in your favor. That concludes the lesson of the fundamentals of how to battle in a duel. Wild game, right? Now let's take a look at how to duel. How a duel is settled. There are 4 individual conditions to determine an outcome of a duel. Condition 1 is reduce your opponent's LP to 0. Simple stuff. Just beat the shit out of them until they fall. Because the Guardian is about to execute the leader. Since your opponent only has LP of 1,000, the damage you inflict will reduce your opponent's LP past 0. In short, you will emerge victorious. The following example is a more complicated situation which LP condition applies. In this scenario, LP of both players are 500 respectively. Your opponent has a not-so-powerful Beetle Ball monster in play. However, the monster has a special ability. Inflict 500 points of damage against the opponent's LP when destroyed in battle. When this monster is eliminated in battle, it automatically inflicts 500 points of damage. Strength-wise, the Celtic Guardian is far stronger than the Needle Ball. Let's take a look at what happens when it attacks this monster. As you can see, the LP of both players is reduced to 0, resulting in a draw match. In this manner, the outcome of a duel is decided after all triggering effects have been taken into account. Be careful that you don't get dragged into a draw when you have a good chance of winning a match. Another condition in which a duel is decided is the occupation of summoned areas. These areas are indicated by the blue, which attempt to summon monsters are called summoned areas. If all of the areas are occupied by your opponent's forces, you will lose the match in play. To be more specific, if your opponent has occupied all of your summoned areas at the end of a turn, you lose. If you find yourself surrounded, it is vital you clear at least one of these areas before your turn is over. If your leader is in a position that leaves you with only 3 summoned areas, then you will be at the edge like this, and there will only be a few summon areas. If they're all occupied, you lose. Depending on the terrain conditions, there are spaces where you cannot summon as cannot be used as summon areas. In this situation, if there are fewer summon areas, if they are occupied, you lose. The next condition, which is deciding the outcome, is LP comparison, resulting from the clock running down on the duel. Time remaining for a duelist is played at this location. Not all the games have those, but it's still something. The number of turns remaining will decide by one of the following competitor, blah blah blah. It's basically if you have a higher amount before that, when it hits 0. And the final condition is unleashing the power of Yugioh the Forbidden One. It is said that somewhere in this world there are 5 very rare cards known as the Yugioh of the Forbidden One. It's 4... there are 5 very rare cards known as Yugioh the Forbidden One, and its 4 forbidden limbs. Individually, these cards are weak due to the spells that bind them. However, once all of those spells are broken, an unstoppable force is unleashed. To release Yugioh from the binding spells, following steps are required. Yugioh the Forbidden One must be a leader card. Then you must position the 4 limbs in the surrounding summoning areas. They don't have to be exactly, but from here, flip over to attack position, and you will end when you end the turn without any spells or control preventing you from executing normal turn. Yugioh will be freed, and your opponent will face hopeless defeat at the hands of this awesome creature. That concludes this lesson. It's like, you fucking tease. Now let's get a closer look on... Yeah, it's not done yet. Other details and rules about dueling. First, you should be aware that there is a limit to the number of cards that you can be placed on the field. Here's a situation where several monsters have been summoned to the field. Displays how many monsters you can have in play. They can only have 5 of the respective type on the field. Any attempts to summon that exceeds that limit will result in the monster being reduced to dust. Likewise, only 5 spell cards can be placed on the field. You should take care not to leave summon areas open so you don't find yourself in a situation where you're unable to play a key card. Now let's talk about consumption and recovery of summoning power points. Summon power points require blah blah blah, and an outset of duel results in 4 blah blah blah. You already said that. Hence bringing at the start of the duel. We'll use up the whole spent by this manner. Brings 3 every turn. Yeah, you already said that. Points that are not expended will continue to accumulate. which is an important thing to know. However, you will not accumulate any over 12. Even in the situations where additional points would exceed 12, you will not go beyond this point. Some monster or spell cards can significantly help or hinder the recovery of summoning points. Use these to your best advantage. Let's talk about spell cards and what happens in the battlefield. When placed face down and unused, your opponent will not be able to tell if it is a spell or a monster. Likewise, like monster cards, spells can be attacked and initiate attacks. Face up, monster card is yours, and your opponent has a spell card. When the spell card is attacked, it is easily destroyed. Although a spell card can easily be destroyed, attacking the spell will never result in damage to your opponent's life points. Now you have a face-down monster card. In monster versus monster battles, face-down cards are turned face-up. Here's what happens when a spell acts. As you can see, the spell card is destroyed, but the face-down remains face-down. As a result, the spell cards cannot be used to discover the identity of a monster card. The only way to do this is to attack with a monster card. If I remember correctly, though, if you attack a spell card with a spell card, it does flip the spell card, so you can at least figure out if it's a spell card. Here's what happens when a spell card is used to initiate an attack. Similarly, when it is attacked, the spell card is easily destroyed. This happens even if the monster is in a defense position. Let's see what happens when the spell card is used to initiate it on a face down, although it cannot be verified. As in the previous case, where the monster card, it was destroyed, and blah blah blah. You should always remember that although the spell cards are capable of powerful magic, they can easily be destroyed. When you bring a spell into play, be sure to move it quickly. Like, that's all you had to say. Now let's see what happens when a spell card attacks an opponent's spell card. The rules differ from what a monster battle. First, let's see what happens when you attack an opponent's spell card with a face-down spell card. In this case, the attacking spell card is destroyed, or attacked spell card is destroyed, and the attacking spell card succeeds in penetrating your opponent's defense. Initiating an attack with a face-down spell card lets you avoid having that card turned face-up. A fundamental rule is that a spell card cannot turn an opposing spell card face-up in battle. Let's see what happens when a face-up spell card attacks an opposing face-down spell card. This time, the spell card is activated. It's important to remember that the conditions for activating a spell card. A magic card is activated when it completes its move face up. Hence, regardless of whether the battle occurs, the magic card is activated since it completed its move face up. As a result, you should be careful about moving a face-up card. Terrain effects. This is the major difference from the card game versus this. The field in which the battle occurs consists of spaces of various terrain features. A majority of the terrain features have their own unique energy force and often strengthens or weakens a monster. let's take a look at an example. Right now, Celtic Guardian is in a space with no effects whatsoever. 1400 and 1200, respectively. Now let's move the monster onto the meadow space. In this space, the attack and defense increase by 500 and resulting a 1900 and 1700 respectively. Since it's also a warrior type, it takes advantage of this when occupying a meadow type. In this manner, whenever a monster moves into the favored terrain, 500 points are awarded. An additional bonus is that its favored movement increases its movement speed. If a monster starts its move on a favorable terrain, the monster can move up to 2 spaces. This monster card increases movement capabilities as noted here. When a monster is marked with this, toggle to movement mode, and the result will have extreme movement. Note, face down cards are not awarded terrain bonuses. This time, the Celtic Guardian is face down. Let's try moving the card. As you can see, there are no movement bonuses awarded despite the fact that the monster card is located on favorable terrain. Now let's turn it face up. As you can see, as long as the card is face up, the movement can be used. Hence, to take advantage of the movement, you must first turn the card face up, and then select the space you wish to move. Now, this time, we have a dark terrain space. That card is a fairy type, which is not suited for dark terrain. When not affected by a terrain, it is 18 and 20. Now let's move the card into the unsuitable terrain. And drops. The attack and defense go down by 500. In short, whenever a monster ends up in unfavorable terrain, it is reduced by that much. Since terrains significantly affect the outcome of the battle, you should plan your destination before committing a move. Since we're on the subject of terrain, let's talk about the terrain with special effects. First of all, there's the Labyrinth. Labyrinth is an extremely powerful obstacle and cannot be entered by a monster or spell cards, nor by the leader card. In addition, a Labyrinth space cannot function as a summoning area. However, a card that has entered a Labyrinth space means the effects such as teleporting and can easily exit, aka if they can move in, they can move out. You can also initiate attacks against monsters located in Labyrinth space. Shadow Wall has the ability to freely move or exit Labyrinth spaces. It's currently located in Labyrinth space. Flame Swordsman has an attack capable of that exceeds it. What happens if it tries to attack? As you can see, the opposing monster is destroyed. However, the Flame Swordsman cannot enter the space. Aside from certain monsters, Labyrinth is a space that can never be entered, making it ideal for preventing an advance. Otherwise, so use it wisely. Rush terrain. This is the card type that destroys this game. Crush terrain can be entered with no resistance, and has no positive or negative effects on most monsters. However, this area is infected by a plague that will attack and destroy powerful monsters. Specifically, any monster with an attack of 1500 or more will be eliminated immediately destroyed under one of the following conditions. If the monster is summoned in the crushed space, if it moves in the crushed space, is located in a space that is transformed into a crushed space, or the crushed space when entered, when either your opponent or you or your opponent ends your turn. Yeah. There are creatures that can actually exist in that space, and they are a nightmare. Since the Celtic Guardian only has an attack of 1400, it is not affected. However, the Flame Swordsman has an attack of 1800 and will activate the Crush. The effect on a crushed space is deadly. However, there are no restrictions to exiting. In short, if you find your monster has moved into a crushed space, that means, by means of teleportation, you can avoid destruction by immediately moving out of the space. Hence, crushed space is an active by attack level. The leader does not have an attack or a spell can da-da-da-da. As can be seen, there are various special features of particular synthetics. Make good use. Mark of a good duelist is how well he or she can use the terrain to his or her advantage. Now we'll discuss Spellbinding. Oh, right. I forgot how long the fucking tutorial was. Spellbinding is a condition in which a card is unable to move as a result of a spell or other means. When a card is spellbound, it cannot be moved, flipped, or repositioned for the attack or defense. Let's see what happens when the Celtic Guardian is spellbound. Right now, the Celtic Guardian is unable to move for the spell. Current count of spell binding begins on the so it's for one turn, as you can see there. Then it comes back. Boom. And now it can. In effect, it is very dangerous condition, eternal spellbinding, which does not release no matter how many turns pass. Which happens when the dragon dragon capture turn happens. At the moment, the Celtic Guardian is held in eternal spellbind. Under this condition, the Celtic Guardian will not be able to move no matter how many times you declare it's your turn's ending. Instead of a number, it is given the infinity mark. It is very difficult to break an eternal spellbind. There's only a few monsters or spells that are capable of doing this. Aside from the aforementioned, the only way to break is to destroy it. Let's see what happens with most common. Parrot Dragon. Parrot Dragon is a wind type, 2000. However, the Celtic Guardian is an earth type. Oh, yeah, here's the other portion. This is what really tipped my scales enjoying this game. Celtic Guardian is an earth type attribute, which places it in a favorable position against a wind type monster. Advantages and disadvantages of attributes are displayed respectively during battle. Yep. The weaker Celtic Guardian was destroyed. However, the opponent is now spellbound for one turn. In this manner, a lower attribute can survive battles as spellbound fall. You get what's going on here. A rule also applies even if both monsters survive the battle. As a result, in case there were monsters unable to be destroyed during the defense position, yada yada. Yep. An opponent has a powerful monster in pursuit. You don't have any surprises up your sleeve, and your leader is isolated, creating a dangerous situation. even under such desperate circumstances, a good duelist will bid for time, believing in the summoned monsters and a chance for drawing a card that could turn the tide of battle. Your belief in luck of the draw could be the key to winning a battle. Among the duelists, there is the belief of the destiny draw. Depending on how desperate the battle, the situation is, and how gifted you are as a duelist, you may be granted the opportunity to attempt the destiny draw. It looks like victory may smile on you. This is your chance to draw a card that could turn the tables against your enemy. Destiny draw is an opportunity to is signaled by a flashing area, is normally used to indicate you can summon monsters. Drawing when this condition is indicated will usually results in drawing a card that will help you in your current predicament. Try drawing a card. Take a look at the last card you drew. It should be a card that will bail you out of the situation. Using this card wisely will help you overcome a desperate situation. However, you should remember that the destiny draw depends on luck and only occurs once in a duel. When it happens, it's anybody's guess. All you can hope for is Lady Luck smiles on you when you need it most. I didn't like that much, and it very rarely happened to me. And it won't happen if your hand is already consistently 5 cards. If it is that case, you will need to do something to reduce your hand, blah, blah, blah. Of course, if your deck is low on cards, there will be no destiny draw. Luck is an important element. Yeah. Can you be done so I can have at least one fucking duel? All cards are deeply bound to the duelist, your experience, blah, blah, blah. An indication of this provides rank. Oh, yeah, no, this is actually very important. This is actually super important. Highly ranked card will demonstrate a special, unique powers unique to its nature when it becomes a leader. Take a look at a Dark Magician ranked Field Mark. One more. There you go. At this rank, the card's special powers are extended support range, increased strength of same type of friendlies, and weaken specific enemy type. Take a look at your opponent's leader. Baby Dragon has the following special effects: increased movement speed and open opponent's card. Since there are various special powers that can evolve for each leader, we won't be able to cover them all. Thank you! To understand the concept, let's take a look at the Baby Dragon situation. The best way to learn is raising. Basically just use cards. Baby Dragon has the power to turn any approaching enemy card face up upon viewing. Your Celtic Guardian is currently face down near the leader. Look forward. It's automatically face up, revealing its identity to your opponent. This effect will also flip face down spell cards face up. This is simply one special effect. To find out more, you need to go and use them. You simply have to raise your own leader and watch the card evolve as you duel. This pretty much covers the rule. Fucking finally! Holy shit, I forgot how long that was. I am so sorry, folks. First, you must select a duel a deck with to duel. It's important that you feel the vibrations and blah blah blah. The cards themselves will draw the power from blah blah blah. The deck leader will act. It's essential that you select a card leader whose rhythm matches the stirrings of your soul. There are several decks in which you to choose from. Give it some serious thought and make your selection. Choose carefully, for the deck you select will guide the destiny of your duels. Okay, so we have Fairy King Truesdale. His main attributes are Earth, Dark, Water, and Air. His main races are Insect, Plant, and Beast. The average summoning level, I don't know why it's all fucked up. I'll have to fix on my spread on that. Is 3.26. Thunder Nana. Oh yeah, he's a 6 cost, and she's a 4 cost with a 19. That's really powerful. Earth, Water, Dark, and same things. Thunder, Plant, Fairy, I believe, and Spellcaster. And then Tactical Warrior. It has one race. Warrior. I think I'm going to go Tactical Warrior. I see you selected your deck. So this is the effect of the Celtic Red Rose cards. Looks like some truth behind the rumor of the Rose cards are capable of time transformation. Who's there? It's been some time since the Battle of Barrett won. Rosenkirk, what brings you here? Only a member of the Rose Crusaders may call me by that name. If you may recall, I told you once before that you may only address me as Seto. Or does that memory fail you, old man? And you must be the dreaded Rose Duelist. I admit, there is a certain aura of power emanating from you. I believe an introduction is in order. I am Seto, leader of the Rose Crusaders. There are members of our little group who prefer to call me as C. Rose Quota. I'll ask you again, what brings you here, Seto? Mind your manners, old man. What else would bring me here? I have come for the Red Rose cards. After all, it was you who showed me how to summon capabilities would evolve the Red Rose cards are combined with the transportation powers of the White Rose cards. You aren't thinking of attempting the forbidden Rose summoning. If so, the Rose cards must never fall into your evil hands. Card sorcery taps into the power of the Ancient Ones. By the very nature, each card is double-edged, a sword that can cut both ways. The Rose cards alone harness tremendous power. There's no telling what horrors may be unleashed when onto the world by combining both red and white. I will sacrifice my own life if need be to prevent any such spell of doom. Spell of doom? Fool! The 16 red and white cards grant power over all. A druid legend which twists the true meaning of these cards. We Rose Crusaders have sworn to create a utopia free of the ravages. We intend to accomplish this by with the power of these cards. And we shall do so by extending our rule of Richard III throughout the whole world. I don't know why there's a space there. By the way, it was clever of you to form a circle of red roses with the right rose barrier to summon the Rose Duelist. But you were foolish to come alone. This area is surrounded, and And if you wish to leave with your life, you will do so only by handing over the red rose cards. Me? A fool? Then what about you? Are you fool enough to actually believe the red rose cards would remain in my possession? Right after the summoning, I had the cards dispersed amongst our best duelists and keep them from your tainted hands. Then you leave me with but one option. I shall enlist the aid of the precious duelist of Rose. You take leave of your senses. And you speak too soon, old man. Heed my words, duelist. If you wish to return to your prior time period, you will require the 16 red and white roses. The red and white positions must be laid out in reverse of the summoning to send you home. You know the spell. Since you need 16 just as much as I do, I propose a partnership. Help us gather the cards, and I shall guarantee your return after we've achieved our ultimate goal. An absurd proposal. Do you think that the Honorable Panther would lend an ear to your ridiculous proposal? Can you be so sure, old man? Let me see. Simon's side has 8 of the red roses, while mine, the Rose Crusaders, possess 8 of the white ones. As the numbers are even, it's a simple arithmetic indicates that you could side with either of us. But I'm sure you'll take into account who's winning this war, after all. Who despises enough to summon you in the first place? Who's desperate enough to summon you in the first place? I think it's quite clear which side is better positioned to send you home. Fate Panther! I'd like they were able to do that. Heed not the words of this power-hungry lunatic. Simon, must you resort to name-calling? I'm hurt. I'll tell you what. Why don't we leave the decision to our dear duelist? After all, Simon, the duelist feature is not for us to decide now, is it? Well, yes, but... Splendid! In keeping with the tradition of the old Temple Guardians, I offer you a choice, duelist. Here are 2 roses. The white represents me, the red the old Simon here. For sake of justice, choose the red rose. Stand by my side, duelist. Choose the white rose. Okay, so this is the part I wish there is replayability. If you guys are actually interested in the game, I'll play through the white side, but after I have beaten the red side. How disappointing. Oh well. You've made your choice, and I respect that. But now, I will guarantee your safe passage until you've met with Yugioh. After all, I don't want our little game to end too quickly. That wouldn't be sporting. I look forward to the day in which we meet again, duelist. Until then. Sorry, this episode's gonna run a little long because it's a fucking tutorial. Burst out. Fate Panther, I present Prince Yugioh, the last prince of Lister, a true Welshman, and the hope we could all call ourselves Celts. My lord, may I present Fate Panther, the Rose Duelist. You serve us well, Simon. My mother was wise in summoning you from Scotland. You honor me, sire. Duelist, I am Yugioh. Actually, Heron Tordor is my name, but I find it tiresome. You may call me Yugioh. I'm sure Simon has explained our situation, but it's only rightful I request your service myself. I need you to return to England and put an end to the threat of the Rose Crusaders. The White Rose cards form a barrier that prevents my armies from setting foot on the British soil. Although we Celts have the Red Rose cards, we are but inheritors who are unable to wield their full power. In hopes of reversing our fortunes, we gamble on a druid legend that spoke of the duelist to Rose, a Rose duelist. According to the same legend, one must use a deck whose cost is lower than the opponent's to capture a Rose card. Yeah, that's the crux of this whole thing. You can't just build this super powerful deck and then just go steamroll everyone. No, it has to be a lower cost deck cost. I believe that it is important that you keep that in mind. The cost of your card should not exceed the cost of your opponent's deck. I would like you to note your resources. Our resources are pressed to the limit, requiring the invasion of England by August. My troops will land in Melford Haven, Wales, and march on the face of the enemy in Balsford Field. Having all Rose Crusaders out of commission by this time would be ideal, but as that might prove difficult, any reduction in their forces will be appreciated. Right then, let us part company and reunite in Bosworth. Simon will provide you with the details to where and when we'll meet once more. Master, choose a location. Alright, we finally get to fucking do shit. Max Raptor and Evil. Okay. Deck. So, currently we have... Nope. Oh, okay. Good texture. Then, okay. When this card is face up, all warriors increase by 300 points. Dragon, spellcaster, zombie, one warrior, 2, very powerful, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have a special effect. Once this all M Warrior 2s increased by 500. So having both of these on the field just makes them a 1500 attack or defense. That's cool. Warrior U. When destroyed in the battle, the opponent monster is destroyed as well, so it's a good trap card. You're considered a warrior. Wow, okay. Queen's Double. When faced up, all Princess of Sanugi cards are increased by 700. I don't have a Princess of... What? I haven't run into it yet. Let's see. Beast Warrior, Beast Warrior, Beast, Beast. Bean, Insect. fish machine. Aqua, pyro, rock, plant. Transform into meadow, which is very useful. Just deals 200 life points. Increases the power of a warrior monsters of light or earth by 500 points. Trap card. Disposable trap card that triggers against monsters of 15 attack or below and destroys them. Alright. So the text is all fucked up, but not fucked up enough for me to care too much. As much as I really want to play a hand, I think right now is not going to be a good time for me to do that. So I'm gonna end it here, and the next episode we'll go and take on Weevil. Yeah, Weevil is closer to my deck cost, so he's going to be a little more easier for me to deal with, especially considering he's probably going to have Meadow and Forest, which should help my warriors a bit more, and have it less in his favor. Rex Raptor is going to have Wasteland and stuff. This is an involved fucking game. Anyway, I will catch you all in the next episode. Until then, have fun, be safe.